Welcome back to my channel, my little altcoin lovers. Today we'll dive into one of the most important historical metrics of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin halvings. We'll break down what a halving is, how it affects market cycles, and what it means for the crypto market as a whole. Of course, we'll also take a local look at Bitcoin's price movement as always. Don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram channel for the latest market updates and my new videos. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and leave your comments below to stay notified about future content. Also follow me on X, where I post the same updates as in Telegram. So let's not waste any time, let's dive straight in. As always, let's start with Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. We'll analyze the price action over the past couple days and try to determine our next potential move. Overall, nothing significant has changed. The markets are in a waiting mode. Today is March 19th, and as you know, the Fed will announce its decision on interest rates. So no one expects a rate cut today. About 98-99% of analysts believe that the Fed will keep rates unchanged. The market has likely already priced this in my opinion, so I don't expect any major reaction. However, we might see a slight dip simply as a reaction to the decision. Looking at yesterday's price action, we touched here a key support level, so our bullish imbalance overlapping with a bullish order block we have here. As expected, we saw an immediate bounce showing strong buyer interest from this zone. We have already had 5 consecutive green candles on 4-hour time frame, which is a positive sign. Despite this, the market remains choppy, so we are in some sort of range here. We might see maybe continued sideways movement before attempting a breakout maybe here. Ideally, we would like to break through the strong resistance zone, so our bearish imbalance that rejected already our price 3 times. So after that, we need to retest it and go higher to our next target, this bearish order block on the level of 91k approximately. However, the question remains, how long will we stay in this range before breaking out? Looking at the bigger picture, Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, is still in a local range. Ethereum, if we look at Ethereum, is practically stagnant. So, and altcoins aren't showing any significant movement either. Some coins like Atom maybe have seen slight gains, but most are just consolidating. So if we look at all altcoins, we have the same pattern as on Ethereum or Bitcoin. We have a range and we need to break up to retest and to go higher for the higher targets. Also, as I said in my previous videos, we have a strong support on this level, on level of 76k. I hope that we will not go lower than this level. So we'll have, if we'll arrive to this level, we'll have a positive buyer's reaction from this level and we will go higher. I don't think that we'll reach this level in the next few weeks maybe, but everything is possible and we need to keep this in mind. And if we will lose this level of 76k, so the next huge support, as I mentioned before in my first or second video, I don't remember, we have a level of 73k, which is a very strong level. The mirror level that we had here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 time reaction from this level, and only on 6th time we had a final breakout. So this is the final, like the final support for our price if we will go lower than 76k. So okay, now let's dive into today's main topic, the Bitcoin halving. What is a halving? A Bitcoin halving is an event that occurs roughly every 4 years, reducing the block reward for miners by half. This has happened 3 times so far. The first time 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024. Currently, the block reward stands at 3.125 Bitcoin per mined block. A halving occurs every 210,000 blocks, adjusting Bitcoin's issuance rate. The network's mining difficulty also adjusts approximately every 2016 blocks, approximately 2 weeks, to maintain a consistent block time of 10 minutes. As more miners join the network, the difficulty increases to prevent blocks from being mined too quickly. If miners drop out, difficulty decreases to keep the schedule on track. Why was halving introduced? Bitcoin's anonymous creator, the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, implemented halving to ensure a predictable and finite supply. Unlike traditional fiat currencies, which can be printed endlessly, the maximum supply of Bitcoin is 21 million coins, of which approximately 19.8 million have already been mined. Due to increasing mining difficulty, the last Bitcoin is expected to be mined around 2140. In the early days, mining a Bitcoin took just a few seconds and cost almost nothing. By 2021, mining a single Bitcoin required over 9 years of computational effort and 12,500 in electricity costs. How does halving affect Bitcoin's price? So let's take a look at the previous cycles. Historically, halvings have triggered significant price increases due to reduced supply. So let's analyze the past cycles. So as we can see, the first halving took place at November 28th of 2012. As we can see, after a halving date, we had a cycle of 367 days with a gain of 9,500%, like 95x from the date, from the price of halving. Okay, let's pass to the next halving, the second halving of Bitcoin, 9th July of 2016. In 525 days, we had a almost 30x of return on Bitcoin from the price of halving date. Okay, let's pass to the third halving. What we had here. So 548 days from halving till the peak, so the all-time high. 711% of return from the day of halving. And now what we have now. So we have a 74% if we will count 910k dollars for one Bitcoin, and only 334 days. Observing past cycles, we notice a clear pattern. Each time price growth has been smaller compared to the previous cycle. So first cycle 95x, second 30x, third 7x, fourth cycle 1.7 for now, for the moment, so far. If this trend continues, Bitcoin price could potentially, in this cycle, grow for 200 or 230% approximately. So bringing a price target to around 190k dollars for one Bitcoin. I personally believe that Bitcoin will reach at least 150k in this cycle, with a possible peak around 200k, if everything plays out well. There is a significant inflow of institutional money, and even governments are adding Bitcoin to their reserves. Right now, the market is in a consolidation phase, likely due to manipulations, but this will not last forever. Historically, Bitcoin tends to move sideways in the summer before entering its final parabolic run in autumn or winter. If we assume an average cycle length of 125 to 148 days, so we'll took 500 maybe 35 days, so we will see that approximately the next Bitcoin peak in this cycle could occur around October 8th of 2025, so this year. Of course, this is just an estimate, but it aligns with historical trends. Let's wait and see how things unfold. It's important to understand that the cost of mining of one Bitcoin changes with every cycle and each year. Currently, the average cost of mining one Bitcoin is around 56k. This includes the price of electricity, equipment, mining difficulty, and other factors. So on average, mining one Bitcoin requires about 50-60k dollars in expenses. Naturally, these costs increase with every halving, and as mining difficulty rises, which must be factored into price. We also need to understand that large players need to sell their Bitcoin, they need to distribute their holdings. Let's take a look at the chart from the 2021, so the previous cycle. Let's see how this happened before. As we can see here, from February 2021 to May 2021, for approximately 90 days, so for approximately 3 months, large players created a resistance zone, a sort of slightly range or bearish wedge or something like that. So some diapason where they sell all their bitcoins. So for the average price of 53, 54k for one bitcoin, when the peak was at 64k. If you hold, for example, 100,000 of bitcoin, means you cannot sell everything with a single order without crashing the market. They need to exit carefully, unnoticed, over months. That way, they secure an average price around 55k when the peak was 65k. Okay, we saw the same thing happen later here in autumn of 2021, but the distribution was faster, only took 34 days. Most of the selling had already taken place in the spring, so they just sold the last bitcoins in autumn just for 34 days. Now, many people might say, and they would not be wrong, that we are seeing a very similar situation right now. So from November 24 to, we'll say, to February, when we kept our Bitcoin range here, we had 100 days, so approximately also 3 months of distribution on the level from 91k to 110k for one Bitcoin. So of course we understand that large players have likely been distributing. This is a fact because in order to keep the price within a certain range, someone must be buying while someone else is selling. So they could have been selling their Bitcoin for average price of, as I said, 97, 98k in the middle of this range, which is a realistic scenario. However, I believe we haven't spent enough time in this phase and haven't risen by a sufficient percentage, only about, so as I mentioned before, only about 73%. What we are seeing now is an initial distribution phase, similar to spring 2021. This means there is a high chance that we will see a correction in the summer, trading within a certain range, perhaps at the current levels or even lower. This is just my assumption, not a financial advice, just my thoughts. Then in the fall, we may see a final rally, setting a new high around 150 to 200k for one Bitcoin, and about a month or two in a distribution phase, and then finally entering a bear market. So the good question is, why are we not selling yet? Because we have not seen an altcoin season. In spring 2021, before the major sell-offs, if we will switch to total tree and look at the global chart, we can see that we already had a huge parabolic move on total tree. So from January or December 2020, we had a 7x on our total tree. So of course we had a good, very good alt season here. But right now altcoins haven't grown at all. They have only been falling over the past 12 months. Most people are still stuck in altcoins because they prefer them over Bitcoin, believing they have higher growth potential. And that's true. They of course had a bigger growth potential, and even me, I'm buying only altcoins. I'm not holding any of Bitcoin. So we're still waiting for the altcoin season, a global rally across the altcoin market. And naturally, this depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to drop sharply, there will not be an altcoin season because Bitcoin acts as a heavy stone dragging the whole market down. That's why we are waiting for further Bitcoin growth, followed by a decline in its dominance, which will trigger the long-awaited altcoin season. So thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful for you. Don't lose your hope, believe in this market, believe in alt season, and everything will be good. Don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram channel for the latest market updates and news. Follow also my X account as well, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more valuable content and market insights. As you can see, my videos provide deep analysis and valuable information. Thanks you for watching, and see you in the next video.